I'm not muted now. That's good. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Chintaro lockdown special, coming to you from Melbourne, where we are currently in lockdown. Have I got my webcam on? Bear with me. Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting ready. Won't be a second. Has this not started? Why is that? Oh, because I haven't shared my screen. There we go. Show me the screen. There we go. All right, it's a bit of a rough start, but we should all be up and going now. And I'm going to ask you, if you can hear me and everything's working properly, can you put up your hands? Now there's a little icon that that allows you to put up your hand on the edge of your panel. If you can see, yes, everyone's putting up their hands. That's great. All right, I'm going to put all your hands down. Thank you for that confirmation. Right, now I know we're here and we're good to go. Okay, so thanks for joining us. As I said, I'm talking to you live from the COVID-19 capital of Australia and probably the Southern Hemisphere, oh, not the Southern Hemisphere, but certainly our region at the moment in Melbourne. And we haven't got anything else to do other than sit at our computers and work. So let's do that. All right, but before I do get started, I just would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land that I'm on. I know that everyone else is in different places. I'd also like to pay respects to the Wurundjeri elders, past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Island people from other communities that might be with us today. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. I know everyone's busy in these strange times, but we'll cover this as best we can. All right, so what are we doing today? Today we're doing one thing. We're here to look at our new statutory reporting analyzer tool that we've been working on for the last couple of months or so. Last time we had a webinar, we told you that we understood that we had to do better to make your job reporting to the various statutory authorities and regulators easier. So we've spent a lot of time working on that on a couple of different things. And one of those things is what I want to show you today. Everything's different now than it was then, and a lot of things have come up, thrown us challenges, but we have persisted with this and we are ready now to show it to you and release it. So first thing I'm going to look at is we're going to look at the tool. I'm basically going to jump off the slideshow and start showing you Chintaro as it is now. So let me do that. There we are. Let's maximize that. Okay, so this is the current version of Chintaro. In the reports menu, you'll see that I've got a statutory reports option. When you get it, it'll probably be down here, but I've just been, this is what I'm working on there. Anyway, regardless of that, I'm going to click it and up comes my statutory reporting screen. Now, there's not a lot on this screen to start with. It says National Regulatory System because down here, these are the different reporting models that we're supporting so far. They're not all finished, but they're all being worked on. The ones that I want to show you today are the National Regulatory System and the Victorian equivalent of that, which is Key Performance Indicators. I call it VRS, but it's where you have to input the document, all of your figures into chimes. Those in Victoria will know what I'm talking about. So the way this works is, the idea of the tool is this is going to show you how your data is looking at any time based on the criteria that you've been given to report on. So let's start with the National Regulatory System. Now, I know all of you in New Zealand aren't reporting in this way. I'm glad you joined us anyway, because a lot of what this National Regulatory System is about is indicators of how your business is going. And the regulatory authority, the regulator over here wants to understand various figures that you're reporting and the ratios of some figures to others, so they can determine whether you're running your business well. So those sorts of things will be just as useful to people running a business in New Zealand, and this, in the future, who knows if MSD might institute some of this. We will be adding MSD reporting to the system, but hopefully this will be useful to our Kiwi friends as well. So there are 7 main categories in the NRS, and 3, 4, 5, and 7 we're not going to be using at the moment. They relate to things that are outside of Chintaro. So all we're going to concentrate on at the moment is the things that are in Chintaro. We will be adding a few extra things, but we'll never cover all of the indicators that are in the NRS. You know, things like governance and probity and financial reporting, etc. So let's look at the things that we can do. I'll start with tenant and housing services. And there is a section 1.2 in there, which is tenancy numbers for year to 30th of June. Right? So tenancies for the year, new tenancies for the year, tenancy exits for the year, evictions for the year, and the number of supported tenancies in place. So they're the 5 categories in there that Chintaro can help you with. If I click on one of those, now that I've exploded it out, you'll see up here tenancies for the year. Now this is taken directly from the regulator's document. So depending on, this is taken from the NRS instructions. The tenancy is defined as households under individual tenancy agreements, etc. Okay, and you can see over here there is a normal data sheet that you're used to seeing that shows all of the items that fit this criteria. Okay, you can see they're all start dates will be within the 12 months. Oh no, sorry, what is it? The number of tenancies as at 30th of June. So they're all tenancies that are current as at the 30th of June on this date. And if you scroll over here, you'll see more fields. You can filter and sort them as you would any normal one. And you'll see down the bottom here, it says 1 of 49. Now up there, it's not looking very elegant yet, but we might polish that up a bit before we finish. And that says 49. So you know that your figure 1.2.1 is 49 at the moment. Now you might think, well, that doesn't sound right. I think I need to look at some other things here. You can double click on anything like you would in a normal screen and go directly to the records and tweak things that you want to, or look at why indicators are coming up in this thing when you wouldn't expect them to. That's probably not a good example because tenancies for the year is a pretty easy one, but we'll see more of that in the future. We will also be putting explanations into this box where it's appropriate as to how we've calculated these things, so you can understand completely how the system works and why your data is giving you that figure. New tenancies for the year is another one. So these are all the new tenancies that were created starting in the financial year to 30th of June. You can see there's 21 of those, and here's the 21 of them listed. The start date is here. They're not all current tenants because some of them have ended. Tenancy exits for the year. Okay, here is all of the tenancies that have exited for the year. If you scroll over here, you'll see whether there were evictions or no. Oops, sorry. 124 is the number of evictions, and this is the only of our tenancies that is an eviction. So there's just only one up there. Number of supported tenancies in place. Okay, we've got 4 supported tenancies in place, and there they are. So if you know you've got more and you're not seeing them there, you'll know how to fix that. If you're seeing one that is there that shouldn't be there, you'll be able to go in and fix that too. Now I should have said I'm going to just present this information pretty much as it is. I'm not looking at questions. I don't see anyone asking any yet, so that's good. I will, at the end of the session, we'll talk about how you can follow up with us about this. Okay, let's move on. Housing assets, another section in the NRS, repair activity for the year 30th of June, and that's the only thing in housing assets that Chintaro has at the moment. It's got information about urgent repair requests, and you'll see there are columns here, how many days it took to resolve, was it within 1 day, was it within 14 days, was it on time, what was the urgency, was it urgent? Now this one is urgent repair requests, and so you're seeing the urgent repair request, and there are 4 of them that were completed in the year. Sorry, that were taken in the year. How many were completed on time in the year, or urgent repairs completed, and 2 of those were completed. Non-urgent repair requests, and for those of you who've been working in the space, this will be very familiar to you, but now you'll be able to see this information more clearly. So you should just be able to go through these figures, through these screens, and come up with all the figures that you need, both on an ongoing basis and when it's time to report. Non-urgent repairs completed, etc. Same deal. Management, which is probably the main category that Chintaro enables you to complete. Vacancies and tenancies as at 30th of June. So this is all of these indicators, and there's 12 of them that Chintaro will provide you with. So the number of vacant tenantable tenancy units, the 30th of June, the number of untenantable units. Now, something a lot of you have been waiting for is other. So number of tenancy units vacant other is also known as maybe vacant waived in some places, and we have a new field called waived in there, which is other/waived. It's the same thing, and you'll set up some vacancy, some untenantable reasons as waived, and they will be known here as waived or other and included in this counting. So we can see that we've got. Sorry, that one's not filtering properly, but that should just be, sorry, should be one. I've messed up in my preparation there. Okay, the number of tenancies last year, which says as at 30th of June the previous year, so that's all the tenancies that there were at the end of the previous year, 36. Number of tenancies in the current year, that's 47. Number of exits, etc. I won't go through all of these things, but hopefully you can see the level of detail here. The calendar days that were vacant tenantable by property, you'll be able to see all of those number of days that were vacant tenantable for the year. Calendar days vacant untenantable, and of course you're getting a total up the top all the time, but you can see the number of days for each property. How they look. You know, if you think, well, that's not right, Bracken wasn't. You know, you can jump into a room there and have a look at the occupancy rates, etc., and work out, well, what's going on? Why was it vacant for so long? And back to the screen. Total calendar days vacant other. We have that category, that vacant other category now. So we can see that there's 180 days that Barker's 205 was vacant other. Now we also have a new concept in Chintaro that is required by the regulator, and that's the number of vacant untenantables relet during the year. So what this means is that if a room was vacant untenantable at any stage between tenancies, that counts as a vacant untenantable relet, and we've got 2 of those this year. If it wasn't untenantable and it was relet, it's a vacant tenantable unit relet, and we've got 18 of those during the year. And then there's the total number of tenancy units. So this is the total number of tenancy units that you have in your portfolio. So I've just got a question from Farid. Where is this report? You're not getting it yet. Oh, sorry, I'll tell you about that in a minute. You don't have it yet. Okay, so rental income. This is something that we asked for. It has to be reported at all times. Here's the rent foregone based on the rules up here that come from the regulator. So we've used that formula and worked out the average daily rent for the property, how many days it was vacant, and what that total foregone is. And there's your total up there, 66,326. Your rent outstanding from current ex-tenants in the current year. Here's your list of tenants. There's your figure up the top, $162,000, and there's our rent balances for those tenants there. Total potential rental income dollars. So if all your properties were full, this is what you would be, and based on your average daily rents as defined by the regulator, this is what you would be bringing in or eligible to bring in anyway. So that gives you a very easy way to do your NRS reporting and to probably more importantly prepare for your NRS reporting so you can make sure that your data's right and you're giving correct data to the regulator. Everyone in Australia has to use that reporting model. I know WA aren't subscribing to the scheme, but they're still using the same reporting model, except Victoria, who have their own version of it. And I know there are a lot of Victorians here today, so I'm going to quickly go through it. It's very similar, but I want to show that Victoria is catered for here as well. So we've listed them as the KPMs as per the, let me go back to my slideshow so we can, as per this document. Now this document, the Housing Registrar Key Performance Measures Guidance document, August 2015, it's a long time ago, but having spoken to the regulator recently, that is the document that we use for this, and we no longer use the old spreadsheet to put them in, and the KPMs are different in that document to the ones that are on the old spreadsheet. So if you're confused as to why I'm calling evictions KPM 8 instead of KPM 10, that's why. All right, so turnaround time, these things are similar. We've got the total days vacant, untenantable, total days vacant, untenantable, etc. Same sort of deal. Number of actual vacancies during the year. So this is the number of times that properties became vacant. Number of vacant tenantable units at 30th of June, etc. All those same sorts of things, including the other tenantable units. We have KPM 4, which is rent outstanding from current tenants. I might just close one of these up so it's up here a bit. So that's total rent charged to tenants. That's the total rent we have charged to tenants, 287,000. The rent outstanding from current tenants in the current year, that's how much of that money wasn't paid. As per, again, all of these are defined by the regulators and we've used their formulas. Tenancies maintained, so number of tenancies as at 1st of July, there we have 14 tenancies. Number of those tenancies that are still current at the end of the year, there's 33 of them that are still current. And there they all are. You can jump into them and look at them, you know, like any of this. New tenancies during the year, all good. Some nice shoes. New tenancies during the year. There we go. They're all the tenancies, and you can see from the start date that they all started during this year. The number of tenancies as at the 30th of June. There's our tenancies. We've got 49. We've seen that number before. Tenancies that are on public housing waitlist at allocation. So these are tenancies we started that had a public housing number when we started the tenancy, and so we've had 2 there. We have prospective tenant complaints, which we haven't populated into the KPM system before, and this is based on the Chintaro complaint. So the number of total complaints received, I've just put a few things in there. We've got 4 complaints. How many of them were related to tenants, prospective tenants? We have a complaint group in here of tenants, so 2 of those were, and the number of complaints that were completed, resolved within the time frame, and so there's a list of those. So if you are not using the Chintaro complaints, you might, and you have to do the KPM reporting, you might want to consider doing that. If you've got your complaints being managed in another system, obviously that's still going to work for you as well. But if you don't, this might be an easy way for you to start tracking your complaints. Evictions. Now this is similar to the other one, the total number of evictions and the total number of tenancy exits. We can see 1 eviction and the same, and 13 exits, same as we did in the NRS indicator. 9 and 10 are urgent requested repairs and non-urgent requested repairs. Same information that we saw in the other indicators, just called a different thing. And that is pretty much the KPMs. KPM 10, non-urgent requested repairs. And then I was putting yes, Mel. Mel's saying that this will be relevant to Queensland as well. But what I do want to show you here is the NAHA, so the National Affordable Housing Agreement, the dwelling worksheet, tenancy worksheet, person worksheet, that's all in there and is just being tested at the moment. Yes, sorry, I probably should have mentioned or made more of an issue of this. So let's say we're looking at a list like this, we can still filter these as we like. Let's say we want to split our transitional and rooming house out, or we want to take transitional out, just look at long-term and rooming house. And when we do that, our figures are going to change. So we can, you know, if you've got different organisations, different reporting entities within your system, you'll be able to specify those different regions, different programs, etc. All of those things you'll be able to filter on just in the normal way that you would filter them. So, and the figures up here will change. Let's, you know, if I just do that, no, that's not counting properly. So we are still doing a bit of, we are still testing here. So that will work. This is why you don't have it yet, by the way. All right. Now down the bottom here, I'll go to my next slide. NAHA, we are finalising that at the moment. That's imminent, and these are the other reports that we've identified as candidates for this. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be adding these reports to it. the various, quarterly reports, MSD, the monthly and quarterly reports that you have to provide in New Zealand, the CAPM quarterly reports in New South Wales Housing, all of those reports, you'll recognise some of them if you're in that area. Oh yes, and sorry, so, and just before I move off that slide, this others, if we are missing something, if there is a statutory report that anyone has to provide or wants to be able to look at and analyse, let us know, and we'll be able to add it reasonably easy to this tool. Let's go back to the system here. Yes, the start and end date up the top here. Christabel's just asked me, can they be changed? Yes, so let's say you're doing, the last quarter or something, and you want to change that to the 1st of April. You can do that, and all of these items will work for that date range. So that's just the default is whatever you have last put in. So if you're working on a quarterly model, you can put in your most recent quarter, and all of your figures will show those items. Yes, Anna, I agree with you. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so that's how it looks. Now, I've got one more thing to tell you about the schedule. So it's released Monday. That will include the NRS as you saw it, the KPM as you saw it, and the NAHA as you half saw it. That will be, it's ready now. We're still doing the testing. You saw a couple of things go wrong. We will have this out to you Monday. If you are in Chintaro Cloud, when you start work on Monday, you'll have the new model. I know it is a pity that it wasn't released earlier, but we've been doing the best we can. So I apologise for that. And that's the story, really. That's it. So currently the NAHA tool doesn't recognise transferred tenancies. Yes, it does, Louise. We can talk to you about that in support, but if you're, this NAHA tool does recognise that if a tenancy is transferred, the NRS does the same thing, has the same criteria. If a tenancy is ticked as a transfer, it won't be counted in the number. So that's built into the selection criteria. Okay, so I know you're probably going to have lots of questions, and I wish I could give this to you today, but I think you need to be able to rely on it and make sure that the numbers that you're getting are right. We're still testing. We're not quite finished, but today's Thursday. You will have this on Monday ready to go. We'll be putting it on in the bulletin, and we'll be sending out an email to everyone to encourage you to update and start using this tool. Okay, I know that some of you will want to be asking me about Chintaro Insights. I don't really want to talk about that today, but very soon, that's our next milestone. It's ready, it works. We just need to get you all set up, and which is a bit of an onerous task. And with the various other demands we've had recently, we just haven't been able to start setting you up. So I'll be probably holding another webinar in the next couple of weeks to tell you about Insights and get you all started on that. Okay, so that's all I've got for you today. Let's not waste any more time. Stay safe, look after yourselves. Hopefully we'll get out of lockdown at some point, and for those of you who are already out of lockdown, and those of you across the Tasman who are pretty well free of this pestilence now, enjoy yourselves. We'll be stuck inside. Okay. See ya. Okay, anybody wants to go, you can. I've got a couple of questions that I'll answer here. How will it set up, and can we see KPM 9 and 10, please? I'm not sure what you mean by Dale, how to set that up, sorry. There are a few things that you will have to set up, and that you'll get instructions sent with the email. That's only a couple of things. Let me just put this back to the whole financial year, 1st of July. Oh, whoops, wrong year. 019. Okay, now Dale, you wanted to see KPM 9 and 10, which urgent repairs completed within 24 hours. The number of urgent requested repairs. I've got 4 urgent repairs. These are the non-urgent ones that were completed and the non-urgent ones that were requested. So that's straight out of the book. Okay, will the old way to get reports still be available? Good question from sorry, Karina, I want to get your name right. Sorry about that. Yes, they will. They will. We have released you've already have the new NAHA version, and you can produce the files or template on that. You should all be using that or have that already ready to go. All of these other reports still work, no problem. You still can use the old THM template, it still will work, but the NRS doesn't have a template or anything, so you're just putting stuff into the portal, so there's no report there. Okay, can you set the building order time or work order was completed by contact commission notes? Yes, you can, Alison. We'll talk to you about that offline. We send this webinar to us by email for review. It will be uploaded to the Chintaro website once we finish here. Sorry, sorry, I'm reading things and not telling you what I'm reading. I've just been asked will the recording be sent to you or will it be available? Like all of our webinars, it will be available on the website by the end of the day on the knowledge base, on the Chintaro knowledge base. Okay, Joy Sullivan's asked, I don't think we do the NRS report, should we? I can't tell you that. It depends on the nature of your business and whether you're part of that scheme. I can provide you with we can provide you with a document from support. So if you need to ask that, come to us in support, and any other questions, come to us in support. Okay. What date is NAHA update available? NAHA update's available right now. It's available on the website. It has been since the 2nd of July. And we sent out an email to everyone that all the contacts that we had, we put it on the bulletin. So that's all ready to go. NAHA. Okay. All right. On that note, I'm going to finish. Thank you. How do I finish here? Here we go. End webinar for all.